Hello and welcome. I am Michelle Welch, your oh so serious one who sometimes cares just a little bit too much what people think.
I'm the one that really don't care what you think. The not so serious one, Roger Welch. So what's up today, Michelle?
Well, so what's up today is pretty exciting. Our friend Laura Pace is with us.
Hi.
You guys are getting used to her being on the show. We are fast friends. We're together a lot, spend a lot of time together, and we love to read books together and share our information. And so Laura contacted our guest tonight to be on the show. So we're going to have Laura introduce our guest tonight.
Yes, tonight we have Tomas Prower. He is the author of Santa Muerte, Morbid Magic, and Queer Magic. And he, just a little bit of his bio. He is a graduate of University of California, Santa Barbara, with degrees in global socioeconomics and Latin American studies. He's born and raised in Southern California. His fluency in English, French, and Spanish gave him the opportunity to work for the French government as a cultural liaison throughout South America, with extended assignments in Buenos Aires, Santiago de Chile, and the Amazon jungle. Since then, he has been the External Relations Director for the American Red Cross, LGBT and Programs Director for Entertainment Productions in Los Angeles, and a licensed mortuary professional in California and Nevada. Currently, Tomas resides in his hometown of LA as a writer and author of popular fiction and nonfiction works. Welcome, Tomas.
Thanks. It's glad to be here.
It's great to have you.
Very great to have
Yeah.
you.
I can't. I'm having trouble hearing him.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble hearing him too.
Yeah. So we're going to.
Can you hear me now?
I can
yeah.
hear you now.
Okay.
Yes.
I just need to speak up a little more. Let me know if that happens again.
So welcome. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight. We're excited to have you. We were mentioning before we started that here at SoulTopia we have carried many of your books, and we're going to carry now this last one. You want to talk about this one a little
Yeah,
bit first?
sure. I just finished
It's
this.
not the last one. I guess it came before Morbid Magic, but yeah.
But I just finished reading it, so it's the last one for me. But it's very good. Santa Muerte, excellent reading, and we'll have this in the store very soon. But one of his books, and then here's Morbid Magic. Michelle and I both finished this one pretty quickly as well.
And
we
then,
have a love for the macabre.
Right, and then we had Queer Magic. When did you write that?
Queer Magic came out in, I think, last year. It was June of 2018 is when it was released. So
Were
it's still
you-
a baby.
Were you in Denver with that book, by any chance?
I was not. Maybe someone who looked like me, but it
No,
wasn't.
I feel like somebody autographed it for me.
Oh, it won an award. It won a Cover Award
That's
in
what it was.
Denver.
That's what it was.
but
Yeah.
I wasn't there, so I think someone else accepted it on my behalf.
Yes,
right.
that's exactly what happened.
I remember that now.
Yeah, it's
I
exactly
remember
what
that.
happened. Yeah, you would have gotten to meet us if we'd been there. Yeah, we all
Yeah.
hung out in the bar afterwards. It was fun. We would have gotten to meet you. Yeah, so glad to have you on.
Yes, very glad to have you on. So do you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go for it.
So in your biography, Tomas, I made a reference to the fact that you have a very close connection with death. Can you tell us a little bit about that? It's pretty fascinating.
I do. I'm actually a mortuary professional, licensed in Nevada, and even in California, I've done work too. But yeah, so I've been on the ins and outs, not just mystically studying, what goes on in the afterlife, but I actually help people with the grieving process, setting up for funerals, and then doing everything behind the scenes, dressing, doing the hair and makeup, casketing, transportation, picking them up from wherever the hell they died. I mean, so I see death very viscerally on a day-to-day basis. And it really informs the spiritual side, and the spiritual side really informs how you have to deal with it on a daily basis. So it's a very holistic approach to death that I have, which I liked, and it's very unique, so I had to write books about it.
Yeah, it is very unique, and it's fascinating too. It really has informed your writing, and it really appeals to me. I'm sure it will to and has to a lot of other people, but I find your background fascinating.
So-
Roger?
I get one question tonight, guys. This
can ask as
is my
many as you
token
want.
question. I told him I was going to make up questions, though. So, In your book, La Santa Muerte, you said that you're a devout devotee. Can you tell us how you found her?
Oh, I found her quite by accident, actually. I had been I had been working for the Red Cross up in Reno, and I came back to Los Angeles. Short version of the story is that I have this friend who is, you don't ask what he does because you might become an accomplice or you might get in trouble if you know. So he's one of those friends, and when I got back, we were riding around downtown LA, and he's like, "Hey, I know you like that macabre stuff. I know you like that dark stuff, Tomas. Why don't I sometimes I'm driving around at night and there's these places like strip malls and they just have giant grim reapers and candles and tons of people in like midnight, man. Do you want to go to one?" And I was like, "Oh my God, this is why we are best friends. You know me exactly." So I went to one, but if you can see me, I'm, through this Vaseline lens I have on my computer apparently. I'm very white. I look straight out of Dublin. I'm very confused, the Lucky Charms man, but I'm actually half Mexican. I speak Spanish and all that. But when you look at me, you don't see it. And so here was this super white kid going into a midnight mass of La Santa Muerte. Everyone freaked out. No one trusted me. People thought I was possibly ICE. People thought that I was there to spy on them or to find out or to bust them. So no one would talk to me, but they handed me this paper, this like news, kind of like a little newsletter that they make themselves, and just said, read that, go away and read it. So I read it. I was like, what the hell is this all about? And I looked at this devotional page and it had all of these kind of like statements of faith of the way in which La Santa Muerte helped these people. And it was just the lowest of the low in society, people that you would not give a second look to, either because, you're above that or because you're scared to look back. And all these people are just explaining about how this woman worked miracles in their life. And I'm like, death? Death is like these people's savior? How in the hell does that happen? And I was just so fascinated by it that I started looking into it. And then, I started busting out more Spanish, started like showing my cultura to people. And I got more trusted. I learned more and it was just fascinating. But when you start working with it yourself and you see results, that's when I was sold. Because I'm practical above all things. And if something doesn't work, don't use it. This has never not worked. So I'm a devotee to this day.
Wow.
That's the short version. But yeah, it was a ride.
That's a great
Very cool.
story.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting when you said that you went to the event or the place with your friend, and then you didn't look so much a certain culture, so they didn't necessarily trust you right away. That kind of segues right into my next question. Some feel that Santa Muerte devotees are culturally biased. How would you respond to that?
I would respond like devotees are everyone else. A lot of people are culturally biased, but it's from a defense mechanism point of view. It's like, let's say you were in high school, right? And you were the kid that was always picked on, and you found salvation, personal comfort in something else, something maligned like Dungeons and Dragons, or you like these geeky books, or you're a sci-fi person, right? And that kept you sane in high school and that saved you. But then when you're older and all of a sudden the bullies and the cool kids are like, oh yeah, this is really cool now, I want to learn about it. It's like they're invading your safe space. And you're like, no, I got into this to get away from you. And now you can't be a bad person and then suddenly come into my world and be part of it. And so with the rise in the popularity of La Santa Muerte, that's what's happening. You have these people who found solace in death because they couldn't find it in God. They could not find it in their religion, in their family, in their culture, or wherever else. So suddenly you have all these people coming in and, invading their space. And when you invade space like that, it's uncomfortable. So a lot of people try to make it very, very Mexican. And, oh, you can only be Latino. You can only be Mexican Latino to really have a devotion to her. I say that's not true. I say no. I mean, death comes to you whether you're a good person, whether you're a bad person, no matter what you look like or what you've done in your life. Death comes to all. And at the end of the day, La Santa Muerte is just a visual representation of death. I mean, that Grim Reaper image is, it's very European in its origin. It's essentially, a European art figure in art history. So it's, what things are shared, what people use, and why they're defensive against it. It's the people who've been really beat down by society, and they really need it's their safe space, and they don't like it invaded by the people who have hurt them. So it's a touchy subject, and it varies from person to person. But I think, it's death. You ain't stopping her, no matter what you look like. She'll be with you. She'll be with you. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And it seems to me just that the very nature of, when I was reading your book, the Santa Muerte book, I've started it. I'm about halfway through that one. It seems as though if she's neutral and isn't judgmental, it seems like she would welcome all, and she does, because she's death, right? So, I mean, you already kind of answered it, but it just logically seems as though she would welcome all because she's neutral. Am I correct?
You are. I mean, I think you're correct too. I mean, that's the same where I'm at. But you get to these when a lot of people go to La Santa Muerte's kind of faith or devotion because they're on the fringes of society.
Yeah.
I mean, worshiping death, worshiping this grim reaper figure is a lightning bolt for like controversy. You're going to get attacked for it. Why would someone in their right mind put themselves in that position? I mean, if you can worship, the quote unquote Catholic God in Mexican culture, that's safer. Why would you put yourself to that? And so really a lot of people who are on the fringes of society go to her. And suddenly when you've had no power all your life and you've been beaten down by everyone, suddenly you're in this disorganized religion and you can become a priest. You can become anything you want to be. You can be a figure of power. And so it goes to a lot of people's heads. I remember I think I put it in the book there when I was doing my research. There's a lot of Santa Muerte temples in Los Angeles, and there's one in Hollywood where I went to learn more about it. And this guy was so self-righteous. He was like declared himself the bishop or the pope, and he was this all-powerful figure who held supreme dominion over the magic of La Santa Muerte. And and you look at him and you're like, you had a rough childhood. You had it real hard in life. But now he's a big shot. Now he can be whatever he wants to be. And it's just beat down people finally getting a chance at power and then abusing it. So it's tough out there, but no, death is for everyone. It doesn't matter. Whether you like it or not, death is for everyone.
Right. So Laura and I had talked about this before we even, and then the Morbid Magic came into the store, and we were both reading it, and we've been talking about the fact that people, even in the tarot community, they shy away from death. We won't get all into that, but we had some lengthy discussions about it. And it's interesting, in your Morbid Magic book on page 42, you say, I quote, there's let's see, how can you work with ancestral spirits and death gods if you refuse to look death in the face? There's a name for such people who work with death spirits, yet are frightened by and abhor an actual corpse. They're called posers. I'd like you to talk about that a little bit. I loved that.
That was great.
That was awesome.
You got to call it out. It's true. I mean, here in, when I say Western culture, like the U.S. and very European influenced, when is the last time anyone has ever really seen death? I mean, my job at a mortuary is really to make a corpse look like it's quote unquote sleeping. So you don't have to look at death. So this whole society is set up so you don't have to look at it. And, I live in Los Angeles. There's a hell of a lot of people dying every day, everywhere. No one's ever seen a dead body. And it scares people. And so when you don't see something, it becomes this boogeyman creature. And so everyone's scared of death, and it makes people feel uncomfortable. And people nowadays are so afraid of being uncomfortable. But it's that discomfort that you really grow from. And so a lot of people want the benefits of working with, ancestral spirits and working with magic of the dead, but they don't really know what death is. I mean, they might have had a relative that passed, and that is hard, but they don't know what death is. They don't experience a corpse, and it's wanting all the benefits of something without having to go through the experience of it. And that to me is false. That to me is posers. It's people who want to be a big. It's like someone who it would be like someone who writes a book, but then you realize it's all plagiarized, and it's like, oh no, none of this is really their stuff. They just took a bunch of ideas and are getting credit for it. They didn't do the work. They don't really know what they're talking about. And so yeah, I'm firmly believe it. If you can't deal with death and you want to work with death, there's some severe disconnect there. Don't give your money to those people.
I agree with you. I find it in any type of, like, even mediumship, and even in a lot of types of work where people are saying they're talking about spirits, they're talking about people crossing over. They're maybe even talking about whatever you want to define a being as, whatever you want to define that energy as, angelic or a spiritual being or an alien, whatever they want to call it. Yet when they really get right down to it, they're all shocked when they see a spirit, or like, oh, somebody said they saw a spirit, and I'm thinking, well, you work with it every day. You say you work with it.
Shouldn't be shocked by it.
Yeah, why are you shocked by it? And I used to actually get that in church too. They would talk about angels. I grew up in the church, and they talk about angels. They talk about principalities. They talk about demons. They talk about But when I said, oh wait, what? There's something over there, they would be, oh no, you don't talk about that. And to me, again, it's posing.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved that. I loved that quote. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that brings us. And Michelle and I have talked about this probably ad nauseum between us, but we are fascinated by the topic. Why are people so afraid to talk about death? Like, what is our fear of death? And you recently published an article I saw on Facebook. I can't remember. Was it with Llewellyn? I can't remember what the article was, but it was top 5 reasons why people are afraid to talk about death.
Yes, it's the top big reasons, me working in the industry and like seeing why are people afraid of death. And I boil it down to like 5 main reasons of why people are so scared of it. I mean, it's inevitability, but people are so scared of it. But yeah, so that's. Did you want me to talk about that?
Well, no, we were asking kind of like, why do you think that? Because not everybody read the article. We have some ideas.
Okay.
We've kind of thrown around unfinished business as one, not really being sure that there is actually some place that's the next life. Is there truly an afterlife? Just the physical act of dying, does it hurt? Those are some of the things that we've talked about before, why people are so afraid to talk about death or think about death. But we'd love to get your thoughts on it.
And I think you said in one of the books, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, it seems like you said that it's more about the after. They're not so much afraid of the physical death. They're afraid they don't know what the spiritual, what happens after. I'm maybe misquoting you, but there was something like that. So, in there.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's afraid of like a violent death, but if a lot of people think, if they die in their sleep, like that's an okay way to go, quote unquote, okay. But the reality is, you have these people that are so, hell bent or heaven bent on what's going to happen in the afterlife, and they live their life accordingly because they know this is what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, and this is controversial, but I'll say it, at the end of the day, if you really knew what was going to happen, if you knew 100% certainty that a glorious, magical paradise awaited you, all you had to do was die. A lot of people would be doing more suicide. I mean, if you knew 100% certainty heaven was this magical place and you were going to it, why are you here? And all these kind of mental gymnastics pop up, from the powers that be, like, oh, it is a testing ground. Oh, you have to prove yourself. And that keeps people from killing themselves. But if you really knew what's stopping you, and at the end of the day, if you really look into people's heart and souls, they don't know. There's always this fear of not knowing what is on the other side, because you might have a belief, but even a very strong belief is not the same as knowing. And people don't admit it, but they don't know. And that scares the hell out of them. And so no one wants to know what's on the other side. And there's no way to know. There's no way to know. And what you don't know, you fear. So people are scared to hell of it, and they don't know.
it seems like the ones, maybe this is even more controversial, and y'all can tell me not to say it, but it seems as though the people who maybe do feel like they know what you were just talking about, if people really knew that they were going to paradise, or they really believed that, and they really knew there might be more suicides or whatever, it seems like those people, anytime, if there are those people, they might be labeled zealots.
It's true. I mean, faith is a political tool, and political tools are economic tools. Everything boils down to money. History of humanity boils down to economics some way or another. But the biggest thing is that, you had it even with the Aztecs and the Vikings. If you have this culture, and you have this way of dying, and if you were guaranteed paradise only if you were out in the battlefield, right, and you died in war, sociologically it makes sense to constantly be at war, and you get a lot more people volunteering for the army. You get a lot more people volunteering to go out and do things on behalf of the powers that be.
Right.
So when you have this reward, the carrot and the stick method, you have this stick that'll whip you and you'll go to hell if you don't do this, or you have this carrot in front of you where you can go to heaven if you do this. A lot of people utilize that, and a lot of people want to make sure that they use your zealotry for their purposes. And hey, if you do what I say, you'll go to heaven. You just have to do this exact thing. You may die. You may be a kamikaze pilot. You may be, a bomber. You could be any horrid thing, but it doesn't matter. You're going to go to heaven because of it. And people think, oh, well, that's the goal of life anyway. It's to get to heaven, right? So, it's perfect. I'll just do that. And so people have, from a Jesus Christ Superstar quote, people have heaven on their minds way too much that they don't see here and now. And zealotry is awful. Even a lot of the suicide cases that we get in the mortuary, and there are many, what happens, a lot of them are really, you look in the back history and the family history, and it's really sad stories. Very sad stories. And to them, they don't know what's on the other side, but they know what's here right now. And what is right here right now is unbearable. So even though they don't know what's on the other side, they know it's not as bad as whatever is going on right now. And so people who are pushed usually to suicide are, people who are sure something good is going to happen, or it's just not going to be or sure that it can't be as bad as this. And so it's sad, but it's always the extremes. People have to be pushed to the extreme either way to get them to act. Otherwise, they're in this pseudo, plastic, fantastic, comfortable mediocrity. It's not that bad, but it's not that good.
Right.
Wow.
True. I like it.
Well, Roger, do you want to do your bit?
Well, and I could go on and talk about this stuff forever.
Oh, I know. Or do
Because
you have a
no,
question?
I don't have.
I'm just-
No, I'm
I was
good. I'm
curious.
good, guys.
We'll
Of
bring
our
it to
time.
No, wait, do you have another question?
I
Go.
don't. I don't. But I could.
Oh, I
no,
thought
I
you were
just.
giving me the
No, I
cue.
love the book. I loved Morbid Magic because of, you educated me on many cultures and the way they feel. So you guys who get the book, and I know you guys are all going to get it. It's Morbid Magic, and then
Santa Muerte.
Queer Magic. All those books are really good.
Yes.
And so, but in Morbid Magic, I just loved learning about all the different cultures. And I just thought back to even my great-grandparents, they would have like picnics out to go, organize a picnic to go clean up the cemetery. You'd have picnics at the cemeteries.
I remember that.
And that's,
We did
you
it.
remember that in Mississippi?
I remember doing that, and you go clean up, take fresh flowers.
And it was
and
like,
visit.
but it was like it was
Yeah.
family reunions and picnics around in the South. I don't know
That's
if
why
it's
I was
everywhere.
never scared of cemeteries.
Well, you also grew up,
I also grew up seeing things, but yeah.
but he grew up on Civil War. Your grandmother's
Yeah.
place was Civil War battleground, so you
Right.
saw,
lots of stuff.
yeah. But it's interesting,
Still
you
do.
guys. So everybody get the books, and we'll give you information about that at the end of the show. So
What else
Roger?
you working on? Got anything new coming up?
Right now, it's very Morbid Magic. It's just released, so I'm getting a lot of, the junkets for that and promoting that baby. But There are things in the works, but I can't talk about them yet.
Okay.
Secrets.
So more coming.
Yes, we have lots of secrets. Famita was on here with secrets, and then she got to announce her secret.
We
Lots
love
of
secrets.
Yeah, we love them. But I love the cover of this book too, you guys, just so everybody knows. And I don't know if you can show it.
And one of the things too, guys that are watching, guys and gals, is that Tomas is funny. So while it seems like it might be an intimidating topic or a heady topic for some, he's really funny, and his narrative style, it's a very, very, very well written book, and I really enjoyed reading it. And I mowed through it so fast, and I know that you will too, but it makes the information and the subject so readable, and you learn so much.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that you're one of the better, and I'm not trying to be mean to the other authors we've had on because I'm friends with them, most of them, but I feel like you are a really good writer. I mean, don't you agree,
Oh,
Laura?
absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, we read all the time. So, all right, you ready with your
So we do a segment called We Stalked Your Social Media.
bum,
So-
bum, bum?
Yeah. So we went through, actually I saw some pretty cool things on there. I think we could probably hang out because I saw you post a lot of music stuff on there. We saw a lot of memes, and I think we have the first one coming up here. Actually, I'm stealing this one and I'm posting it after the show.
Can you
Can you see it?
Yes, I remember that Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
So
Death
what is
smiles
it?
at us all.
What does it say?
I can't see it because it's too small on
Can
it.
you
It's
read
about
it for
death.
us,
Can you read
Tomas?
it?
Oh yes, it's a quote from Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, and he says, "Death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back."
Yeah.
Yep. I'm
right.
stealing it. I'm posting it after the show.
You can give him credit.
Yeah.
Or
I'll
Marcus
do that.
Aurelius. All right.
And then the next one, actually the other thing I saw was you post a lot of positive affirmation type stuff also.
I try to. I mean, a lot of what I write is very heavy, very dark. And it's always nice to get that counterbalance because, you don't want to go on my page and be, depressed all the time. I mean, sometimes it's good to be depressed. You need to go through it. But there's positive stuff out there. And it's that reminder, like, hey, good things happen too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which they do.
Yeah.
But this one, magic is believing in yourself. If you can do that, you can make anything happen. Which is true. I mean, there's that famous Madonna quote of, most people don't get what they want because they don't ask for it. And there's so much you can get out of life, but people are just limit themselves because they don't believe they can, or they don't want to do the work to get it. But really, if it's so cliched, but that's the only way you can describe it. I mean, if you really want something and you go after it, you can get it. And your only weaknesses are the weaknesses that you believe you have. Everything can be overcome. This might take more work and more leverage of getting about it, but there's a way to do it.
So I saw you were kind of on a kick for a little bit about movie quotes or movie top 5 type things, but then you started posting music. That was actually the next thing I had there. Actually, I have very few people around that actually know this song. I love this song. I used to listen to this constantly all the time.
Yes, Steppenwolf's Goddamn the Pusher.
Yeah.
Goddamn, I say the Pusher. I said goddamn the Pusher, man.
Yeah.
From Easy Rider. Yeah. The thing is that a lot of people there's so much information online now, and what people don't have is they don't have kind of a way to curate it. And so I love classic movies. I love, real good songs that aren't auto-tuned, that aren't, written in mass production for someone else to sing. And so if you go to my page, like, hopefully, it's like Teach the Children's. You could get exposed to some good stuff that you might not be exposed everywhere, like this awesome Steppenwolf song from Easy Rider.
Yep.
Check it out. Click on it. It's good.
And this one, I did click on this one. I had to listen to it actually twice this afternoon.
Oh,
Just to
great.
listen.
Now he'll be singing at karaoke or something.
Oh, yeah. We'll
Yeah,
be having a
he'll
karaoke.
he'll sing it in
Be
his
watching.
demon.
There's
Yeah.
going to be a karaoke night at SoulTopia coming soon.
Roger sings in his demon voice, so
I'm
get
in.
ready because it's always like, blah, blah. You bring in your demon voice to
Yeah.
that song, I bet.
I can, yeah.
It's awesome, and he holds the mic like a rock star. Yeah, it's
We're
good.
going
I
to have
gotta
it.
see this.
Yeah, for his birthday.
Never
we'll
seen
do
it. Okay.
And then he'll sing a lot.
I want to go to that concert. I want to go to, what is it? Freakers Ball. Can we not go to Freakers Ball?
I'm going.
You're going to Freakers Ball?
We have Freakers Ball here coming up in
2 weeks.
yeah,
In 2
Marilyn
weeks.
Manson, Rob Zombie, Bush, Bad Wolves.
Yeah, you can go to that. I'll be staying at home. Maybe I'll go see the Judy Garland movie with
I'm
Laura.
go
pretty
see that.
sure I have more fun.
We'll go see Judy.
Yeah.
God,
All right,
yes.
so you have another one?
No, that's it.
That's it.
Actually, we have our giveaway.
We have a
Da-da-da.
giveaway.
Giveaway.
Giveaway time.
So
All right.
I'm not
Reward
telling
for
what we're
those
giving
who've
away
been
tonight.
listening.
Okay, actually, this is going to be. You got to be on top of your game to win tonight.
Okay.
Okay, we're giving away a bracelet.
Okay.
Okay, one of our bracelets that we actually make, and we've made this bracelet for quite a few years. So
Long
if you
time.
really know SoulTopia, one of our bracelets has everything to do with what we've been talking about tonight.
Oh, I know.
So
it.
if you can guess what bracelet we're giving away, you're going to win it. And we're watching now.
So you have to be live.
So you have to be live.
watching, and the first one to answer.
And first one to answer correctly, it's in my hand right here.
And Erica, our producer, is on it. She's watching.
This bracelet has everything to do with what we're talking about tonight, though.
All right.
All right, start guessing.
So I have a quick question while we're on the topic. Well, it's not really on the topic. It's kind of off topic. But have you followed anything about Joker?
No, this is terribly embarrassing, but I don't follow current movies. If you ask me like what's happening in pop culture, I won't know. If you ask me what movie won the 1955 Academy Award for Best Picture, I'll tell you it's Marty. But I'm so out of date with current popular culture.
That's-
I
it's
got
fine.
books to write.
Yeah, there's
I
just
hear
a lot of
controversy.
controversy about it, and some of it surrounds sort of some
Yeah.
of what we've been talking about, and villain, super, or what is it called, anti-hero
Anti-hero.
and superhero, and yeah, it's interesting, just all the information that's out there right now, and people, should you watch it, should you not watch it? It's a bunch of
Mhm.
controversy. I had a big thing where I was answering somebody. And then I deleted it all. I was like, I don't want to
Not
have a
worth
full
it.
day of getting grief.
Yeah,
I'm not
'cause
going to
you'd have
get it.
been
I'm not
tied up
going to
with that
step
all
in
day.
and I'm not stepping in it, Steppenwolf. It's not happening. All right.
All right, so we have a winner. Nellie won. Tonight's bracelet we're
Nellie!
giving away is death.
Is death.
Yeah, it's the tarot card. It's from the tarot, our
Yeah.
tarot
Tarot
series.
series of bracelets.
Yeah.
And this is
Woo
the death.
woo.
All right, Nellie, you got it.
All right, Nellie.
Nice.
All right. So we have another game.
We do.
Are y'all all prepared for the game and you left me out of it?
No.
We're
Yeah,
playing
I-
a game.
I have absolutely no.
Typically, there's a game that I never know the answers to.
Yeah, she's not. I see the name of the game on here.
Michelle, you gotta share your mic with,
I'm going to share my mic with. Oh, I have to share with Roger?
or Laura.
Or
Okay.
me. We can be
Well,
like the
who's-
Andrews
Who else
sisters.
is using the mic?
I gotta use it over here so I can read to you.
Oh, we'll share.
Okay, so we are playing a game called Darwin Awards. And Darwin Awards are the stupidest ways people have died, and there's actually a whole thing. And every year they choose.
And there was a movie about it.
And so the website
was?
actually says, honoring Charles Darwin, the father of evolution, Darwin Awards commemorate those who improve our gene pool by removing themselves from it in the most spectacular ways possible. So I've
I
got
love
here
these.
some Darwin Awards.
Okay.
I've got some just random facts of different ways that people have died, and I've got a couple fake ones. So you have to decide.
Okay, can you explain the directions again? Because I was still trying to convince Roger that his microphone doesn't work and mine does.
It's his.
Once
Oh.
again, Roger was correct. And it was on live podcast today. Yes.
Okay.
So, Tomas,
We
you
have
got
proof.
that?
Okay,
I
I don't
got
have
it.
the
I
directions.
got it.
Can read them one more
Okay.
time.
So some of these are actual Darwin Awards, stupidest ways people have died. Some were just interesting ways that I found that people have died, and some are fake. I made it all up.
Okay.
You have to figure that part out.
Okay.
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 So we have three choices: stupid, or just two choices: stupid or Erica stupid. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
there you go.
Erica created.
Basically.
I'm kidding. All
Okay.
right.
All right. A psychic from Thailand claimed he was immortal because he was protected by the spirits of ancestors. During a public ritual, he stabbed himself in the chest to prove he could not die. He began bleeding profusely and died later at the hospital. It turns out the flimsy sword he had been practicing with was sharp enough to pierce his skin after all.
Oh, I've heard stuff like that too, and even working in the mortuary, you have people who think something's not going to hurt them, but then you see them, on the slab a little later. I would say that's true. I'd say that actually happened.
I think that happened.
What do you say, Michelle?
False.
I say it's true.
That was true. That was
Damn
a
it.
Darwin
You know why I
Award.
changed
We
my
are
answer?
keeping score, right?
Hush. You know why I changed my answer? Because you were laughing like your mom made it up, dude. So I was going with true, and then you started laughing. I was like, it's
Don't
gotta be
trust this
false.
one. Over here.
What'd you,
Ah,
did you say false?
man.
You said, what'd you say?
Y'all all got a point.
I
but
said
me.
I said true.
Roger, you don't trust
All
me?
got a point.
Huh? No, I'm making sure.
All right.
Oh, you-
All
I
right.
want to make sure I win.
All right. A writer died after he accidentally swallowed a toothpick, which damaged his intestinal tract, causing a severe infection resulting in his death.
Oh. What do you say?
I would say no, because I feel there's going to be a no one in here, but also because, I don't know, maybe that toothpick gets dissolved in the stomach before it hits the intestines. I don't know. I think a toothpick surviving that far is rare. So I'm saying false. False.
Okay.
It seems like a lot of information for Erica to make up. That was my giveaway on it.
So
It's got a lot
so
of. I'm
true
going
or
with
false?
true.
You're going with true?
I'm going true. It's a lot of detailed
Okay,
information.
only, Chip, I have to go, do I follow the licensed professional in this, or do I follow you? And the only reason I'm following you and saying true is because we're gonna be on the same page, because we gotta ride home together, so true.
I'm going to say false.
This one was true.
Oh my god. Must have been one of those jumbo toothpicks. God.
It was cinnamon flavored.
Or like a popsicle stick size toothpick.
Did y'all do that? Did y'all do the
Sure.
cinnamon flavor sticks? Did y'all used to bake those, the cinnamon, and take them to school?
You used to get in
No.
trouble for it.
Oh my gosh.
I took them all the time. I had like cinnamon flavored toothpicks. Yeah.
Yep.
You got in trouble?
Were you selling them in your
yeah.
coat? Like you'd open your coat and you'd have all
Did
these
you like
toothpicks.
peppermint or cinnamon?
No, you'd have peppermint on this side, cinnamon on this side.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
A construction worker from Ohio was doing his daily duty in a porta potty on the site he had been working on for months. Since the smell had been building up over time, he decided to light a match to help combat the smell. Somehow, he dropped the match and the entire porta potty exploded due to the high levels of methane from the sitting waste.
Oh my God, what a horrible way to die.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
God.
I mean,
I'm going false.
That has to be false. I mean that's too wild. But I mean it's like, is it? But I'm gonna say no. That's a lot of methane.
That's like Christmas.
It's a lot of methane.
That could be in there. And
That's like Christmas vacation.
False. I'm saying false.
yeah, I'll say false too.
You guys are good. That was fake. I made it up.
Oh,
And
that
it was
was
long
I
with a
liked
lot
your
of
detail. Yeah.
Attention to detail.
It was Christmas vacation.
on the methane.
Cousin Eddie.
Good
Cousin
detail.
Eddie.
Methane
I had to
poison.
get specific and make sure you believed it. All right. A man tried planking on a railing. When he stretched out and attempted to take a selfie, he lost his balance and fell 7 stories to his death.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
I see this on the news all the time. These people doing yoga off of balconies. That one girl, did you see that just recently?
No, I did not.
Oh,
This one could be true.
yeah.
That could be my son. Tyler, don't do that. My son lived in LA and he's in San Francisco now, and yeah, he does that crazy yoga, planking, whatever, crazy, everywhere stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to say true.
True.
I'd say that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen
I go
stuff
with
like
true.
You seen one like that?
I've seen stuff like that.
Oh.
Not flanking, but just people being stupid. We have a mortuary term real quickly. It's called the boys of summer, and it's because around summertime when everyone's out of school, people get stupid, and it's always these young kids that are way too stupid, too much free time, and they end up coming to us. They don't know they're coming to us, but they do. I would say yeah. That if that didn't happen in this case, it happened somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Michelle, what was your answer?
True.
Okay. You guys are correct. It was true. That was a Darwin Award.
Okay.
All right. A poodle fell 13 floors and fatally hit a 75-year-old woman, killing them both instantly.
That's sad.
Hold on.
If you made that up, that's horrible.
Hold on.
Okay.
A 46-year-old witness who came to the scene of the incident was fatally hit by a bus. An unidentified man who witnessed the 46-year-old's death had a heart attack and died on his way to the hospital.
I don't think you would make that up, so I think it's true.
This Final Destination sequence.
Is that what that is? Damn it.
Yeah, I'm going false.
Is it? Is it from Final Destination?
I don't know, but it seems, when like people die in these bizarre ways. it's
Right.
just- I don't know. I'm gonna say false. It could happen possibly, but I don't know. That's a lot.
I'm going false.
I'm gonna say false.
I said true already.
Okay. Michelle, you're right. It was true.
I
Oh
caught
my
up.
gosh.
Quite the competitor here.
All right. A woman who had tried multiple ways to retain her youthful appearance decided to try the scorpion rejuvenation method as a way to enhance her lips. Unknowingly, the woman obtained one of the only 25 of 1,500 species that has venom fatal to humans. Within a few minutes of stinging herself on the lips, she began having seizures and died shortly after.
That's true.
Is that true?
Well, if that's not true, it's like what Tomas said earlier. There's some version of that that's true because I have heard something about that story. But I didn't Snopes it or anything, or Scopes it, or Snope it, or Snoopy Doo, whatever.
Snoop.
Snoops or
Snoops.
Scopes or
I don't
Snopes
know
or
what
whatever
the
that's called. But
term is.
I think it's true.
I think it's true. I think some idiot probably did it.
Oh yeah, they do stupid stuff all the time, so I'm going true.
Yeah, that has to be true. I mean, if you went it professionally, I'm sure the doctor knows which scorpion. This is probably someone who just picked up something out of the desert, put it on their mouth, and died.
Exactly.
So it could be true, but I totally wrote that whole thing and made it up in my head.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Well, we all said true.
All right, one more. An Ohio politician was demonstrating to a jury how his client's alleged victim might have accidentally shot himself and actually shot himself.
Isn't that true?
Oh, I think
Well,
that's true.
I've heard
True.
such stories.
I'd say that's true.
I think that's true.
I think it's true. What'd you say, Tomas?
I think it's true. I
Yeah.
think it's
Roger?
true.
True.
And before you give the answer, let me just tell you guys, I think it was my first possession of a firearm or something, case that I tried in front of a jury. I just was so stupid. I was 24. I took the gun and I aimed it at the jury.
Oh my
Swear it's a
gosh.
true story. I thought I was going to get fired that day, but I didn't.
It was true.
Yeah,
It was
Oh.
true.
But I didn't hurt the jury. You're never supposed to aim the weapon, the murder weapon at the
No,
jury.
at the jury.
It's just
Did you
not
check
wise.
to see if it was loaded or not?
No, yeah, well, I didn't check, but
We got just a
hopefully they
couple
checked.
minutes for live reading, so if anybody wants one, just
Okay.
type in general in one of the comments.
Anybody?
Alright.
Anybody?
I get my what? On my knockback?
So I am using La Santa Muerte tarot cards this evening, available at SoulTopia. They're very beautiful.
I dug out some old decks. The Gorgons Tarot, it's by Dolores Fitchy. They're round and black and white. They're really cool. And I gave Roger some that he had bought a long time ago, too.
Got these a long time ago. These are the Marielle Tarot by Maria White.
Yeah, so I kind of dug some out that, like, we bought maybe 7 years ago.
Those are really
yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
We've had these.
A long time.
Well, these.
These are by Schiffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I can't get one card out, though. Do we have anybody, Erica?
Yep.
2012.
General for Jennifer.
Okay.
General for Jennifer. So we'll just pull one card, and I promise, one card.
Okay. Who
So
wants
we
to
have
go
s-
first?
I gotta get the
I haven't
cards
got my
out.
cards
Oh.
out and ready.
So you go first since you're ready.
Okay. I didn't wear my glasses, so I have to look at this. Okay. So Jennifer, I feel like the situation that you're in right now, where you've had some heaviness and some trouble, it's not quite over yet. I do think that you are close to the end of this conflict or, troubling situation that you're in. But I see a little bit of a delay in it. I see it extending a little bit longer, and then you'll be in the clear.
So I'll tag team onto that. I got the 9 of Wands. I'll put it here. You want to put your card?
Oh, yeah.
And immediately I got, there's something it's actually, I feel like maybe the delay could be a little bit you, if just not standing forcefully in your power with it. So you've got it behind you, but just step into it and own it. Whatever the situation is, it's gone behind you, you've gotten it under control, but you're sort of relinquishing the control again a little bit.
So I got the King of Cups. One thing about this one, this king, instead of being mounted like on a throne, it looks like he's coming forward from the bushes, basically, like the jungle almost. So use that focus and move forward with what you're doing, coming out of the shadows, come out so people start seeing more of you and that power that you carry with you.
Awesome.
We'll do a general for someone that's typing under divinely guided messages of love and light.
Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Alrighty.
A general.
For divinely guided messages of love and light.
Okay.
We are reading. I like these cards. It's been a long time since we've used them. Cool.
Let me look at it a little closer. Again, I don't have my glasses on. I forgot them. I got the 8 of Cups, and I feel like this might be a time for you to kind of retreat and be a little bit introspective, but I feel like you're resisting to that. This would be a good time for you to do a little bit more soul searching, a little bit more thinking. Try and get some rest. Try and take comfort in your own self and your own company. Be comfortable with your own company. I sense that there is a little bit of a fear of being alone for you.
All right, so I got distracted by Roger's card because it made me think of a card for, a question for Tomas, but we'll talk about it when we go to it. There's disc over the eyes.
Oh.
Yeah, they're covering the eyes. So anyway, I got the Hierophant. And so for divine, I can't remember, but for divinely guided messages of love and light. In this depiction, what I find interesting is I feel like it's time for you to potentially this show is something that was really good for you, that maybe some of the traditional ways that of looking at, it's like you want some structured, I'm not going to say religion, but some type of spirituality or group or people to connect with in your life, and maybe some of the conditioned beliefs or whatever you want to call it aren't serving you anymore, what Tomas spoke of earlier. And I believe that's why the Hierophant popped up for you, and that this show maybe is very relevant to you. It doesn't mean necessarily that it has to be the one we talked about tonight, but there might be something else you want to explore for spirituality.
So, and what I got was 2 of disc, which is your 2 of coins. And what's cool about this one is actually the coins in this one, they are over the eyes.
Yeah.
And what I got from that is not just your like money challenges, but just challenges in general. Don't be blinded by that. Move those things to the side and open your eyes and actually see where you're going and how you're handling things. Don't get blinded by the monetary process of it.
So so quickly, Tomas, thank you for being on.
Thank
but
you
tell
so
me,
much.
could you actually tell me just a bit about the coins over the eyes? Where did that whole thing come from?
Different cultures have these different like sending money with the dead, but I think coins over the eyes was very ancient Greek, and it's really just to pay the ferryman, because a lot of cultures around the world believe that the afterlife is very similar to this life, and money rules, and so you need money to either pay the ferryman to go across the river Styx, or you need money to leverage and bribe people in the next life, or you just need money to survive like you do here. So people think it's not much different. So if you send people off with money, then hey, they can get by.
Interesting. So everyone, please look into these books. Will love them, I believe, like we did. We have Morbid Magic, Queer Magic and La Santa Muerte. And you can get them at SoulTopia. But where else can they find you, or how do they go about getting in touch with you or the books? Do you sell them through other people, or do you sell them yourself?
I do not sell them myself.
Okay.
I would say go to your local bookstores, support the local community and get it that way. If not, go to a brick and mortar bookstore like Barnes and Noble, or go online if you need to. I mean, and if you really need to, it has to be free somewhere online if you look hard enough for the torrents.
We'll stick with the come to SoulTopia answer.
Yeah.
Support your local store. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. And we are out of time, you guys. And we just want to thank everybody for joining us. You can find us on all the podcast platforms. You can find us on Michelle SoulTopia YouTube, and on SoulTopia Facebook, and SoulWhat Facebook. And this is just a group where listen to me, a podcast where we talk about certain matters of the soul, and you get to decide what is interesting and what matters to your soul. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.